Our United Way Spotlight of the Week is on home-based housing, and I'm joined by Jay Nowak. Welcome. Glad you could join us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Jay, I always think of home-based housing as finding homes, apartments for people, but you actually go beyond that and deal with people who simply don't have a home, don't have four walls to call their own. And that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, that's correct. Here at Homebase, United Way is one of our major funding partners, and they fund a couple of programs here. Specifically, they fund a community outreach worker as well as an Indigenous case manager, which is part of our street outreach services. And the goal there is to connect with individuals who may be sleeping rough or may not have any place to stay at night, to create those relationships and try to get them into a shelter setting.
So now, all winter, there have been people camped out at Memorial Center, and I think a couple of other places in the city, and all kinds of weather. And they're there. They're there. Are those the ones that street outreach that you would deal with, or those some of the people?
Yeah, our street outreach team deals with pretty much anybody who's street involved. That may be individuals who are sleeping rough in tents or encampments throughout the city, but also includes those individuals you may see downtown who are panhandling or just are downtown without somewhere to go. Our street outreach program is really designed to connect with everybody who is kind of street involved, try to create a relationship with them, providing them with their basic needs, but also making sure that if they're not going to enter shelter system, they have what they need to stay outside and bear the elements, specifically during the winter and summer months where it can get extremely cold during the winter and extremely hot during the summer. Our services are greatly needed for our clients.
So for someone who is without a home, they live on the streets, living rough, as they say, what are the services that you provide to them? Like specifically, what are things that they need?
So when it comes to street outreach, basic needs is a major factor for individual survival. You know, we're providing clothing, blankets, harm reduction supplies. We're also providing things like support services. So we're connecting them to addictions and mental health services. We're connecting them to our more large program here at Homebase called Housing First program, which connects them with a case manager to work on goals that will eventually allow that individual to move into housing and sustain it. One of the other major things that we work on is trying to get individuals into shelter. So right now we have three options. There's the Integrated Care Hub on Montreal Street, in from the cold as well. But during the months of November and December, the city, along with United Way, decided to open a warming center. So one of the programs that we're really focused on right now is the warming center at 218 Concession. And that's somewhere where people who are sleeping rough can just go and have a good night's sleep, have a meal, have a good night's sleep, and hopefully will allow them to gain contact to other organizations and other services so that they can get on the move to finding permanent housing.
And just to talk about that, it isn't, the warming center isn't just for people who want to sleep there. It's a place for them to spend some time, spend an evening, see other people, deal with other people, and get a meal, pick up a few things that they need so they can, if they don't want to stay there to sleep, they can go back to wherever it is they're sleeping.
Yeah, we tried to create a little bit of a community at the warming center, along with Lionheart and Street Mission. They provide a meal program in the evening. It starts around 8 p.m. And then we also allow individuals to come in there right off the street. They can stay up until 11 o'clock and have a meal, converse with other individuals. And then we change it over to a sleeping program where we can allow up to 19 individuals to sleep.
It's getting worse, isn't it? It for a bunch of reasons. Like I understand with COVID, the shelter system, they couldn't accommodate as many people. And then so many people found themselves in worse situation after COVID. Is that what we're seeing, that it's even more of an issue now than it was, say, 3 years ago?
I think it's just more in the eye. I
Okay.
think with the lockdowns and the minimal amount of individuals who were walking around during the past couple of years, a lot of things were closed down, and the only individuals who were able to walk around the city were homeless people. So you did see an increase of numbers downtown in the downtown core. I'd also say that our drug issue here in Kingston has really created some barriers to clients getting housed and staying on the street. We have a very toxic drug supply here in town, and we have a very high number of individuals who are sleeping rough, who are, using illicit drugs, and that does take away from their ability to save money to pay for rent, or their ability to even sleep so that they can wake up and go look at a unit. I wouldn't say it's getting worse. We're doing all we can to keep it steady. But I will admit that COVID has put us, back a couple of steps.
Now, this is blunt, but am I better giving money to people who I walk by on the street, or should I donate it to the United Way instead? Like if I had to make a choice, like the ideal is do both.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, but what would your take be on that?
I would say you want to donate to United Way. The United Way funds numerous programs for the city, a whole bunch of them here at home base, and they're specifically tailored to support those individuals on the street. It's fine to give some loose change to individuals. They may use it for food, but there are also a lot of food programs that are also funded by the United Way. So the best way to support those individuals who are street involved is to be donated to the United Way so that they can provide funding to programs such as ours to give the right support for these individuals.
And instead of cash change, because most people don't carry cash anymore. We do everything with credit cards and debit cards, so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't have any cash for you. What about going in and buying them a sandwich or something and taking it out and saying, please enjoy this, and then just leave it at that? Is that another option, or how does that work?
You know what? I'm always okay with a civilian or a citizen walking down the street and seeing somebody who may not be as well off as them or in a tough situation and providing them with a meal or a coffee. That's just called generosity. I actually think that we could use more of that in the city because they still are part of our community. They are citizens of Kingston, and if you want to give somebody a sandwich, by all means.
Okay. Nobody grows up thinking someday I'd like to be homeless. No one asks to be put in that situation. It happens. It happens. Yeah. And you mentioned the United Way, and tell me more about how they have helped you provide these services.
Well, again, they are one of our major donors or funders here at Home Base Housing. So they provide funding for those two case managers on our street outreach team, but they also provide funding for realistic issues as well. So, if we're needing, a computer, or if we're needing PPE for the last couple of years through COVID-19, they've provided us with PPE, masks, and all that kind of sort of stuff. So they're not just providing us with money to fill roles, but they're providing us with things that allow us to do more with the money we already have.
That is great. And another good reason to donate to the United Way.
Definitely.
So, thanks for being with us today, Jay.
No problem. Thank you so much.